Hello to all my real estate experts out there. Just wanted to continue to get you some data that we're seeing as this market is starting to shift. Many of you are probably feeling that in the spring market, just more activity now that we're past the Super Bowl and continuing to look ahead into the spring market. There's some data that came out today that I thought was interesting to help you continue to have those conversations with your buyers, your investors. As we know, real estate, one of the most valuable pieces of real estate, can actually be the appreciation side of what the values do just in wealth creation. And so wanted to show you a few slides as you continue to have those conversations as well. When we look at some of a couple things that are driving just some of the stuff in the real estate market today, one of those is just purely household creations. There are just more and more households that need places to live. And as we see that, if we look back at a trend of the last multiple decades, we just continue to see more and more households being created. What's the definition of a household? Well, it's really new units being either rented or owned. So it's not individuals necessarily, although it could be an individual, but if, for example, a husband and wife bought a place together or rented a place together, that would be considered one new unit. If it's a roommate with multiple roommates, then that's still one unit. So really they're looking at units being occupied or new units being occupied. And if we look back at that slide, we can see just more and more units that have to be created purely from population or people aging into that population of wanting to live on their own. And so what does that actually do? If we can't keep up with the amount of units in the market, then the vacancy rates actually go down. So if we look back at the last decade, I like this chart because it pairs not only the rental side, but also the home ownership. And when we see new houses being created and not enough units to keep up with that, then vacancy rates go down, meaning there's just less places to rent and more people who want to rent them. And so what does that do to rental rates? We continue to see rental rates increase as well. More people are willing to pay more for units just so that they have a place to be when there's less units to choose from. And so same thing with home ownership. Again, over the last decade or so, we're seeing just less and less inventory on the market. So less units to be bought or sold. And this is really the data that came out today. And it's kind of that added piece of, are there new units actually coming into the market that are going to bring relief to not only the vacancy rates, but also the just inventory in general from home ownership. But what we're seeing is that as of January, or kind of in the trailing month, there was 27% less permits year over year. And that's really where builders are coming and saying, hey, as we look at this next year, we're going to plan out how many units we're going to build. Well, there's a sentiment that there's going to be less units built, maybe out of fear, maybe out of budget or inflation costs, whatever it may be. Builders are saying, hey, we're going to hold off on our long-term plan and we're just going to get less permits right now. Well, same thing with actually the permits that they currently have. They're just not starting the project. So we're seeing that down about 21% year over year as well. So purely from a perspective of new units coming on the market, it looks like we're not going to be seeing much relief in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months or longer. And then really with completions, a lot of these builders are just moving up current projects to completion. They're just doing it faster. Again, maybe just risk tolerance of who knows what's in the future. So we've actually seen that go up. So that's my question to you as we continue to have this conversation. With vacancy rates low, with inventory low, and with new builds or new starts or new units coming on the market is actually low as well. What does that do to real estate values? I'll let you decide and love to hear your feedback as well. But I do think that we have a strong indication that values will continue to go up for all of your investors. We're going to see rental rates continue to go up. and there's really just no end in sight with some of the data or the indicators here. So, yeah, love to hear your feedback. Let me know what you're thinking. Again, this isn't all-encompassed view of what's out there, but it is interesting to have those conversations with your buyers and investors. We'll talk to you soon.